Hi, I'm Jerry Davis. I want to take a minute today to talk to you a little bit about Christmas and about our fate as believers. This holiday, it's not a holy day. It's fake. It's mixing the profane with the holy. Yahusha was not born on December 25th. He wasn't born in December. He wasn't born in the winter. He was born sometime in September. And you can check it out. It's easy to find the perfect information on that. You can't mix the holy with the profane. Putting this baby Jesus nonsense on an absolutely, utterly, completely pagan holiday is tremendous sin. You're blaspheming. Putting that tree up, this is the evergreen fir tree of Nimrod, who wanted to build the Tower of Babel so he could attack and kill God himself. And there you have that tree in your living room. And he established that December 25th date as his birthday. The Yule log is him dying. The tree, the next day, you burn the Yule log, the next day, you put the tree up that night, the next day, there's the tree. All decorated, reborn. It's the rebirth of Nimrod, who might in fact come to rule this earth soon. And there you are with that tree saying, "Oh, baby Jesus." It's disgusting. Don't mix the holy with the profane. You can't slap a manger on it and say, "Oh, it's all about God." Well, which God? It's the Walmart God, the credit card God, the Christmas lights God. Because Yahuah has nothing to do with it. He will never honor it. He will never participate in it. You can't take something that represents evil and put Yahuah's name on it. He's given us plenty of good to do. All of his holy days in the Old Testament are for his children. You can say, "Well, that's for the Jews." Well, no, it's not for the Jews. There weren't even any Jews. That Jew name is made up of the tribe of Judah. It's just a short abbreviation for the tribe of Judah, who came back after the Babylonian captivity. Some of the Judeans did, to rebuild Israel and Jerusalem. So anyway, so we're not putting up a Christmas tree this year, and it's good. We are going to exchange gifts though, because I've got 3 little boys, and I'm not going to tell them, "Well, you know what? In the name of the Lord Yahuah, I'm not going to give you a Christmas present this year," because they would think that was great evil. Isn't that something? But I have explained it all to them. They do fully understand, and they do understand. They look at the roots of all of this pagan evil go back thousands of years, and they understand the history of it, and so they're cool with no tree, no wreath, but we are going to have presents because school's out, and we're going to make a party out of it. We got a couple of weeks, so we're going to have a good time. But this time of year can be difficult. Personally for me, it's quite lonely. I do attend a regular Bible church in my town, and nobody believes as I do. I'm considered kind of a weirdo, and no, I do love the pastor, and I sit right across from him in church, and we sit within, arm's reach of each other, and I love him. He's a fine man. But I did ask him one Sunday after church. I said, "Pastor, what is sin?" He said, "Well, sin is, when we disobey God." And I said, "No, sir. Sin is transgression of the law." And his eyes, got bright, and he said, "Well, yeah, that's right." And people, they just turn their brains off right then. Well, if sin is transgression of the law, then obviously the law is in effect. And people say, "Well, we're not under the law." Well, yeah, you are. You're going to be judged by the law and all the sins that you perpetually break. You can't say, because Jesus said he only came to do the will of his Father. Jesus is not his name, by the way. It never was. And He only came to do the will of his Father. And what's his will? Everything, the words that came out of his mouth. The book of Deuteronomy, the actual name of that book is Ele Hadebarim. Ele Hadebarim. And it means the words. So if you want to know what the words of Yahuah are, go to Deuteronomy, start at chapter 12, and study those commands for the rest of your life. It will change your life. It comes with a promise. Look, you can't be a New Testament Christian. New Testament Christians are going to die. You're not going to survive. You will be unrighteous. Very few of you will make it. Okay? If you're a New Testament Christian, that means you've rejected all the words of the God that made you, created this earth. I used to be one of them, but I knew that there was more. You know, my spirit yearned for it, and Torah kept coming up, and I thought Torah was some kind of Jewish book. Well, it isn't, although the Jews love to claim it as their Jewish Bible. It's nonsense. Those are the words of Yahuah and the prophets, the law and the prophets. Genesis through, Amos or Zechariah, I think, is the last prophet in the Old Testament. It's awesome. I mean, that's the meat, the muscle. You got to read that. That's who we are as followers of Yahuah. That's who we are. That is who we are. Yahusha, he said, my Father is greater than I. Okay? So he's telling you right there, he is subservient. He is lower than Yahuah. They are not like co-equal partners. You know, take God, cut him in half, leave one in heaven, put one on earth. That's not true. That's not what Yahusha said. My Father is greater than I. Yahuah says, behold my Son, with whom I am well pleased. They're different, distinct, separate, not the same. And Yahusha was given all authority on heaven. He didn't have it. He was given all authority. Who gave it to him? Yahuah. Why? Because Yahusha was faithful. Completely, totally, 100% faithful all the time. Obeyed all the laws and commands of Yahuah. Deemed trustworthy. He was given. Just to clarify that point. If you're a follower of Torah, if you read the law, study the law, and you do, you endeavor. I can't do it. I am not particularly successful at obeying all the laws and keeping all the holidays. I don't even know all the holidays, but I want to know, and I learn this. But man, and I need to study more. There's a verse in Isaiah, I think it's in chapter 56, might be verse 1. But it says, the righteous perish. And they perish to save them from a great evil. So I think, reading that, and knowing that in Revelation it says the red dragon enraged came to the earth to destroy, to seek and destroy those who have the testimony of Yahusha and keep the commands. Okay, so those are Torah keepers that are saved. It is called the Way. That's why Paul was arrested. Paul was arrested for being in a sect called the Way, who preached this Messiah, Yahusha, and also kept the laws of the Jews. All the disciples did that. Of course they did that. That's what we're all called to do. It's foolish nonsense or even evil lying from Satan or the Satan to say that, well, we're not under the law. Well, you know what? That's a lie, because we already established sin is transgression of the law. Therefore, yeah, we're under the law because we sin. If you obey the laws of Yahuah, you don't sin. If you disobey the law of Yahuah, you sin. If it's outside, if it's not covered by the law of Yahuah, it's not sin. You can do anything you want that's not prohibited by the law. The law sets you free. Yahusha said, "The truth, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free," and it does. I've never been more free. I mean, it is a profound liberty. It is amazing. by becoming a slave of Yahuah, I am more free. Anyway, I think I've mentioned that my wife told me yesterday that I didn't have any friends. And I noticed in my family, they don't really want to talk to me about anything. And it's not that I just get around them and rant on and on and on like I'm doing right now about this thing, but I can't not talk about it. I can't bottle it up. It's the most important thing in my life. It's about the only thing I want to talk about. I can talk about other things, but inevitably it's going to come right back because, Yahuah is part of, He created this universe. He's in it. He's in me. How can I not talk? I'm not dead. I'm not a zombie. I'm not one of the walking dead, which 90% of the earth is just, the walking dead. They're just zombies. They got their phone in their face and they don't believe in Jesus, and the Bible's for idiots and it's boring, and they're interested in Hinduism, or Satanism. The Satanists now, those folks are committed. They obey their God. They obey their God. They do the things. They worship Him. They study the Word. They say, we got to do this, we got to do it, we got to sacrifice this kid. It's got to be an 11-year-old boy or a 7-year-old boy. The knife's got to be this long. It's got to go in. You got to chop up, eat and drain the blood. They obey their God. Christians don't. They don't even want to read that part. Nah, I want to read about, I don't know, anything. I want to read where Paul says, it's not the law that saves us. It isn't the law that saves us. It's the law that makes us righteous. It's Yahusha that saves us. Believe in Him. But you know what? Christians and demons, they're almost identical. Have you noticed that? Because the demons believe. That's what the Scripture says. The demons believe and they tremble. Because they know who He is. They feel, yep, He is who He says He is. He sure is. And the Christians, they say, I believe in Jesus. Praise the Lord. I believe in Jesus. And, he said, well, thank you, sister. That's awesome. And so, what'd you do this Passover? Oh, that's for the Jews. That Passover stuff, that's for the Jews. Sukkot, tabernacles, Oh, no. What's that? Oh, no, I never heard of that. Where is Zitzi? No, what's that? See, they don't know anything at all. They claim that they're, I love baby Jesus. Oh, and Mary, she did so good. She was such a fine woman. They just, it's because they're probably decent people. Decent people who wouldn't harm a fly. They would never do a bad thing. But they're just like the demons. Because they don't seek the will of God. And they won't obey His laws. And the demons, they are the same way. They believe that Yahusha is who He says He is, but they don't obey the law. They don't study the law. They're disobedient. They transgress the law constantly, and so do these Christians who don't study the Old Testament. So if you're one of these Christians, and you say, grace, well, was it Isaiah said that the wicked receive grace, but they don't learn righteousness. And there calls them the wicked. He starts off with the wicked. He knows what he's going to say. He knows who he's talking about, and he calls them the wicked. The wicked receive grace, but they don't learn righteousness. What is righteousness? The laws and commands of Yahuah. If we practice those, we become righteous. Abraham was considered righteous because of his faith. Well, what was his faith? His faith was obedience. Remember, they did the sacrifice, split the animals, moving, flames going back and forth between them, and Yahuah says to Abraham, walk before me and be perfect. And be perfect. Well, we can't be perfect people. We're not perfect people. He lied. Remember, he lied about his wife being his sister and stuff. Well, she actually was his I think she might have been his sister or his cousin, I forget. So he wasn't perfect in that respect, but he wanted to have perfect faith, trust, obedience. Obedience, that's what he meant. Walk before me and be perfect. So you do walk also before Yahuah and be perfect in your obedience. You'll be lonely though. Man, Yahuah tells me, He's always with me. He's always with me, and I'm with Him. And man, you know what? I just endeavor to abide by the laws that I know, to keep them, especially the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a holy day. It's not just a day. He sanctified that day. I mean, it's part of creation. You've got all these events in creation, and He also created the Sabbath, and He said keep it holy. And there are dire consequences for disregarding the Sabbath. And Sunday is an old pagan. That's when they used to worship the sun. That was a ritual, weekly ritual for paying homage to the sun gods. And then when I think the Catholic Church under Constantine, they wanted to merge their organization with the pagans, and they started to paint all these pagan festivals and stuff with the Jesus brush. Yeah. So we're going to bring them all in to the universal church, because that's what Catholic means, is universal. So it's the universal church. It's the world church. That is literally what it means. So, they're going to embrace Islam. They're going to embrace Hindu. They're all going to be one big pile of paganality. Death. I think I talked about the Christmas tree already. The history of Christmas. And there's no Christ in it. People say, there's no Jesus. They're trying to take Jesus out of Christmas. Well, there never was Jesus in Christmas. He's not part of it. It's all made up pagan mess. It's a lie. Yeah. But you go teaching this stuff, man, people don't want to hear you. You won't have any friends, and I don't think I have any anymore. I don't think I have any. It's really lonely walking this walk. It is really lonely. But it's the right path. It is the way. The way. And what did Yahusha say? I am the way. Keep my commands. I love you. If you ever want to talk, share your experiences, reach out to me. We can talk on the phone if you want to do that. You definitely have a friend in me. I am faithful. I am faithful to my friends, even when because somebody's got to be faithful, right? Someone has to be faithful. You make that person you in your life. You be the faithful one. You keep the faith. Don't turn your back on anybody. We'll know each other in heaven. We'll be glad for it. So, until our bodies die, go in the peace of Yahuah. Yelo koye na chala yeshiana. Nebutela wakayena na lachi na chayena mukuba. No kotoloti yanama ha. Ne shole mukuyiti nyana ha. Nebukala harugo kochia. Ne yaya kashimua. Nebukotole miyena. Nina chayena chay. Na chayena mukukochi bukwa. It is good to be His. He comes